Hello, Jennifer and Sidney. This is your brake booster that you sent to me, and we're going to go over a few things before I test it for you. First of all, as you may recall, I showed you how your original vacuum diaphragm was all rusty and messed up, and so you got a new vacuum diaphragm in there. What I'm showing was the lips. You can see how the lips are straight up and down where they're supposed to be splayed out, so they'll catch the inside of the vacuum can, so you can have hold vacuum. And also, when the booster came to me, it had a plug right here that was screwed from the outside in, and this booster had been updated. Originally, this booster used a leather diaphragm, and this hole is the access port for pouring lubricant, mineral oil, into here to lubricate the leather seal. But since we've been updated to the rubber diaphragm, and that uses permanent lubricant, permanent lube or grease on the diaphragm, there's no need for this plug to be screwed in from the outside, which might lead somebody to believe that you need to put oil in there periodically, and we don't need to do that. And so the factory says that when you update the booster, you screw the access plug in from the inside so that it no longer is usable. And your slave cylinder was reusable. It was in good condition internally, no rust pits. And the air poppet inside here was marginal, but we made it work. Had a couple parts of it come unglued, and then we made it work, and so now it's fabulous and perfectly serviceable. So the test. Let's get some light on the subject here. We got, this is the vacuum side, and these are our vacuum hoses. This one here is one that if you guys ever want to use it in the shop, just hook up a vacuum gauge right here, and this is the port that will tell you that the booster is being activated. And here is our source of vacuum going into the vacuum portion of the can. We have atmospheric coming in from here to the back half of the can, and the front half here is where the vacuum is. So the vacuum portion, this gauge is going to go and read our actual vacuum. That is a function of either the condition of the diaphragm or my test machine. And this gauge will also read vacuum at the same amount. They'll both read the same. But when when the booster is activated, this gauge will slowly go down to 0 until the booster has reached full activation. Over here on the input side, we've got input and output. We've got 4 gauges, but they're actually linked together. These two act as one gauge. These two act as one gauge. And so what happens is this: the input pressure, which is what my master cylinder can do, and my master cylinder is in fact actually just this hand pump right here, which works a piston inside. And you can see we've got our fluid level over here. So what happens is this gauge goes up and maxes out, and then this gauge continues and reads the maximum amount of pressure that my hand-operated master cylinder is able to input. And we actually can go more than 350, but 350 is what the machine reads. Now then, output side. This is what is going to measure what the booster is doing. So what we can do is show you right now what happens without any boost whatsoever. The input and the output pressure will read the same. So notice our gauges are going up. So we're going to get to 350 right there, and you see we're up to 350 over here within a small amount of error of these 1950s age gauges, and then over here we're reading between 300 and 600, just about 350, 400, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, so it's about 350. Now then, what we want is for the output pressure with the vacuum and with boost applied to read double what the input reads. This booster is a 2-to-1 boost ratio, so if we got 350 in, we want 700 or so out. So we're going to crank it up, and I'll show you how that works. Here's our vacuum actuating. Let's do the vacuum first. You'll see how it works. output boost of well over 700 psi. Now we'll start it. Now we'll do the vacuum boost side only. There we go. At the same time, we take a look around your booster, make sure we don't have any bleed screws leaking. You never need to, so I don't have to yell over the vacuum, you never need to use this bleed screw. Just use this bleed screw. Bleed this one first and last in terms of the bleeding of the booster. Also, we check to make sure we got no leaks here, and after that we are ready to go. So just for fun, test it again. What I'm doing is turning the valve to release the hydraulic pressure, and then allows the booster to go back to 0, which is just what you're doing when you release your brakes. There we go, multiple applications of the booster, and it's doing very, very nicely, very nicely. Thank you for sending it to me. Good booster work on. Bye.